everyone, and welcome back to Crafts by the Bow. This evening I've been making some gift bags ready for my end of term presents for my staff, and I've just made very simple little box bags. I've used some of the older DSP and I've used card for the handles and card for the base. And I think these make really nice little gift bags. I often make them for Christmas or birthdays and things. And then I don't buy any from the dollar store or the card stores anymore. I always make my own. What you can do is make the base bigger so that you can make your the box part of your bag bigger, or you can make the paper taller so that you can make it work for pretty much any present you want to put inside. And the very first thing you need is a piece of card for the base of the box, and it measures 8 by 5. And we're going to score at 1 inch all the way around. So I'll just get my trimmer. I know black is a little bit hard to see, but I am just scoring it at 1 inch. It's getting a little bit dark here, so I've put the light on with the camera, but I'm hoping it's not going to be too dark before I finish the box bag. Then you're going to need your snips, and where the little crosses intersect and the little squares at the corner here, we're going to cut it up to the 1 inch score mark and then just take a little wedge out, and these will be our flaps for closing the box. It really is a simple little box, and it's just to give stability to the bag. It means, oops, and it means you can put something in that's a little bit heavier. There we go. And then using your bone folder, we're going to fold over on all the score lines and just burnish them so that they're nice and crisp. There we go. Okay, and then I'm going to turn it back, and I'm going to put glue just on these 4 little tabs. Now I'm using Tombow because I like the way Tombow bonds all the fibres on the paper, but you can use tear and tape or snail, whatever you need. And then we just press those little tabs in. Hold it for a second so that it dries. It doesn't have to be too precise, this, because it is just the box for the inside. It's not really going to be on show, only the base of it will be seen. Okay. Now while that just dries, we'll start to make the outside of the bag. And for this you're going to need a full piece of DSP. And I'm using some of the, I think it's Pop of Pink, and it's a full sheet. It doesn't have a directional pattern on. When I made this bag, it did have a directional pattern, so I just had to be careful that I had the pattern the right way around before I put the border on the top. So you cut your piece of 12 by 12 exactly in half, and then you need 2 more strips from another piece of DSP that will match or coordinate with it. And what I did was I then glued those strips to the very top of the paper, like this. Okay, this will be the bottom of the bag and this will be the top of the bag. And to make it fit nicer around the box, I like to score just a little bit so that it fits flush onto these corners. So using the trimmer and the first piece of paper, I'm going to score at 1/2 inch. Now 1/2 inch is a little bit tricky, so I'm just turning it over and scoring actually on the back. And you need to do about 1/2 inch at the top, lift up your trimmer guide, and then 1/2 inch at the bottom. And that will just give you a tiny little score mark that shows you where it's going to fold around your box. Okay, so that's that first 1.5. The next one is at 3.5, and again we're going to do just a little bit at the top, a little bit at the bottom. The next one is at 9.5. And then we're going to cut it at 10 inches. I don't like having lots of the paper wrap around the bag so that it overlaps, but I do like to use these offcuts for little tags, or I will use them on cards as well and make a matching card. Okay, so that's that first piece. The second piece we're going to score at 3 inches. There we go, and again just a little bit at the top, a little bit at the bottom, and then we're going to cut this at 9 inches. And this is a slightly bigger piece that you can use on a matching card. So I save both of those, one usually for a label and one to go on a matching note card or something, or even a gift bag. Okay, I'll pop that scoreboard down, we don't need that for now. Then starting with the longer piece, and on the back I'm going to put some tear and tape, and I've just bought this from Amazon, this Sukwang tape. Not too sure what it's like, but it's just a little bit wider, and I thought it would be ideal for this. I'll put it all the way along. Oh, wow, it's tough. Okay, and then on the front I'm going to put a little piece of tear and tape at each side, just after the score lines. Let's find the end here. Okay, this is a much narrower tear and tape, so I'm just going to put it right at the edge here, and then the same at the other side. And then we'll start by adhering this larger piece first. I'm going to take the tape off at the back and then get our little box again, and we start right at the right hand side edge of one of the longer sides. And remember, you've got those little score lines on 1/2 inch, so you know that it's just going to be the tiny 1/2 inch piece that goes onto the card and before the corner. And let's make sure it's lined up. Oop, that's quite on straight, there we go. And then we're going to go across the short edge, sticking it down as we go, and that should just marry up with the little score line that we made. And then we're going to go, oh, I've unstuck my finger, along the longer edge, the 6 inch edge, and the last little score line should just take us round the corner. Okay, oh there we are, that's that started. Fold this a little bit just for when I join it on. Okay, now take the shorter piece, and on the bottom at the back we'll put some more of the tear and tape. Wow, it is sticky. It just stuck to the bottom of the DSP. I have to be careful with that. Now it doesn't want to come off. There we go. Okay, and starting at the short edge again, I'm going to take off the backing for this. And this is going to fit across like that. And it should have the little score line that stops at the 3 inches. And then let's take the backing off here. I know it's a bit difficult to see. Oops. Just bear with me. Okay, then this piece will go across, and it should line up just on the very edge of the box. And then you can use that little score line at the top just to match the edges here. And the same at the other side. Feel for the little score mark. And then I just use my bone folder to go down on the inside just to make sure that the tear and tape is gluing. And then you'll see it's not quite square at the moment. I just find the score mark that goes up from the edge and just pinch it in a little bit like this. Oops. Feel for it, there it is. Okay, and you'll find that you can just manipulate the edges to be a little bit more square. And once you've found those edges, it's easy just to go down the bag with your thumb and finger and make it square. Okay, so now we've got the box bag, the base and the sides done. Now we need to make the straps. I have already made the straps, but because they're in black, it's a little bit tricky to see. So I'm going to make one in a lighter colour, and then you can see what I'm doing. You need a piece of matching or coordinating card. I'm using black on my actual bag, but just for demonstration purposes, I'm going to use this piece of lilac. And you need to cut the straps at 1 inch wide, and you need to make a score line exactly down the middle. And I find it easier to do the score line and then cut it. So I'm lining it up at 1/2 inch and getting my scoring blade. And your score blade, you need to start at 1.5 and go down to 9.5. You don't go all the way to the end. Then move it along to 1 inch and cut. If you have a 1 inch piece and are trying to score it, it's a bit fiddly to get it to stay in one place. So I find this the easiest way. So I'll show you again. Line up at 1/2 inch, find your score blade, start at 1.5, go down to 9.5, move that along to 1 inch and cut. Okay. Now the next thing to do, let's move this. The next thing to do is the edges. And I'm using my corner punch, and you punch each of the corners. Now I am waiting for the new triple punch with the new corner edger. But until that comes, I'm using my older Memories and scrapbooking one that we got, the Project Life ones. Okay, so you do that on all 4 corners, and then where the score mark is, fold it in half. And again, you can use Tombow, or I'm going to use tear and tape. And you line it up with where the score line starts, go down to where the score line finishes, take that piece off, then fold it over and squash it together really well. Okay, and this is going to make the handle. So you then just need to manipulate it a little bit with your hands just to make it curve, because we actually need it to curve to stick on the bag. So I'll go back to the black ones that I'd already made. See, I've already glued them, and I'm just going to manipulate them to make them stick. There we go. And then you can use the glue of your choice, but I'm using Tombow. Just put some on the inside of this part of the strap. Ooh, that came out fast. Okay, and then taking your bag, you're going to line this up. Just hold it for a second till it starts to stick. And you're going to do the same with the other side. Make sure you have them level. It does take a minute or two for Tombow to stick onto this, just because the card is already manipulated into a shape. There we go. And then you need to choose some embellishments. Just move that one down a tiny bit. There we are. You need some embellishments. just for on the handles. And on the other bags, I was using these, I can't remember what they were from, but I have quite a few of them left. Does it say on here? It might do, but I can't read it. Okay, so I do have some of the embellishments from the botanical blooms, and I think I'm going to use those. So I think they look quite pretty on there. You can stick them on with a glue dot, or I'm going to put mine on with a dab of Tombow. That is coming out fast. Okay, and then just lay them over there, and then it should stick as the glue dries. Don't worry that there's a bit much on there. It will dry clear. And then another one on this side, and then at the other side, I'm just going to take this off because I know it's going to roll off while I move the bag around. Put your other strap on this side, and with the embellishments again, and that's it. Use one of your little pieces as a tag, make a card to go in it if you'd like to, and that's our little project for tonight. Just a nice, quick, simple little bag. There we go, let's pop that back on there. Looks a bit sad without it. If you don't have any embellishments, you could always use one of the punches and cut out a shape, like a little circle, and put a rhinestone in the middle, or you could cut a heart or a butterfly, or even just one of the little flowers. And there you go. Quick and simple little bag, great for all sorts of gifts. It would even be nice to make and put half a dozen cards in for somebody. So I hope you've enjoyed watching that, and I'll be back again soon. Thanks very much. Good night.